Damn, that is cold. There's nothing that cuts deeper than somebody who's willing to go with self-deprecation to put you lower than them. A lot of bosses at least try to show you some respect, but this guy just straight up calls you embarrassing. This guy. Which, I mean, you probably had it coming trying to kill this guy in the first place, but usually games try to sugarcoat this sort of thing, at least a little bit. They're not even trying to be funny like a lot of games that insult the player. This one is just completely straightforward in saying you suck. You're bad at the game. You should probably turn the game off now, because this guy who faced the things you will face and gave up, whooped your ass. Moving on to number 19, it's Sonic Unleashed, rank E. Games with rank systems can be a little insulting at times, like getting stone ratings in platinum games are usually kind of embarrassing in certain ways, but the worst thing that happens with that is you get a silly Link statue, not a big deal in the long run. Pretty much any other Sonic game is the same. Getting a bad rank on a level for going too slow, dying too often doesn't feel like that big of an insult because the game doesn't really dwell on it. Sonic Unleashed is a little different. The game doesn't just give you a number and call it a day. It makes a whole ordeal about your rank, which is split into letter grades. If you get an S or an A, or even a B and a C, it's not that big of a deal. But if you get the worst possible rank of E, the game really runs in it. The end of the level fanfare starts off the same at first, but when you get a big fat E, that starts to crumble. When it appears, Sonic drops to all fours, pounds sand, and lets out a big no. But the real insult is the music. Instead of the triumphant sounds you get from finishing the level in any other ring, the instruments go flat, the whole thing is off. It sounds terrible. It's just like, oh, you know how bad you did. So do we. We saw it. You were a failure. And it's brutal, because it's not like this game's easy. Some missions go on forever. It can be finicky as hell. So you just barely manage to scrape your way through a level, taking like an hour to finish it. But hey, at least you managed to do it. As a player, you should be proud of your persistence. But the screen's like, neater, do better next time, idiot. I mean, that music it's devastating. And number 18 is Fallout 3's Door to Nowhere. Now this is just uncalled for. In Fallout 3, in the northwestern part of the map, you can find a bunch of satellites grouped together into a makeshift raider base. Nearby, but not directly connected to the base, is a random concrete wall with a door on it. Now, you might think this is some kind of secret entrance or a way to get around the rocket guys who watch over the entire area, but you'd be wrong. If you open this particular door, instead of finding the worthwhile planet, this is the concrete wall with the words, "Fuck you," written on it. Just a real slap in the face out of nowhere to the player, like they're insulting us for thinking that there would be something there. Oh, you thought you'd be rewarded for exploring? You fool. You idiot. What dumb notions do you have rumbling around up in that rock box you call a head? It's partially a cruel joke on the player, partially a desperate attempt to fill in a door that didn't connect to anything. The game was almost done. There was no time to develop anything else for the game, so we just slapped a wall with a vulgar message there. Not for nothing, but it did end up making the door a lot more memorable than it would have been otherwise. It would just like led to a small room with like some bottle caps and a chest or something. I don't know. It's savage, but it's also one of the most authentically Fallout things in the game. Like, you could easily imagine something like this popping up in Fallout 2. And number 17 is Gun, Failed Breakout. About halfway through the 2005 Wild West action game Gun, which is a bit of a forgotten gem in certain ways. Your main guy gets his ass thrown in jail.
If you want to get out of here tonight, that deputy's got him down. See if you can grab him when he gets close to the bars.
Escaping is simple. You just grab the jailer while he's walking back and forth from the cell. He's basically asking you to overpower him and steal his keys. There's a little skill involved here. It is possible to miss when you try to grab it, but it's pretty unlikely that anyone will miss more than once. You do, but I mean, you can. It's possible to miss more than once. You have to really, really suck at timing, and if you do, the game all but laughs at you with guards saying, "You are the dumbest son of a bitch I ever seen."
You gotta be the dumbest son of a bitch I ever seen.
I like to imagine that he doesn't stop there. Well, I keep walking back and forth right here in front of this here jail cell right in the range that you would need. do it. That's also probably why it's only one line. It's 2005 and space limitations were, I mean, better than they had been, but still, you cared about how much space you were using. Now, obviously, it's directed at your character in-game. Clearly, it's meant to be for the player. And number 16 is Ninja Gaiden Black's Ninja Dog. Even when a game's trying to be helpful, games that offer easier difficulty after dying are gonna be insulting on some level. The easiest games are the hardest. There's no way to dress up and drop difficulty as anything other than a failure on the player's part. Most games try to be neutral. Some try to be supportive with these kinds of options, but Ninja Gaiden Black chose cruelty. This is a game that doesn't just insult you by offering to lower the difficulty. They really rub it in. So if you die 3 times in the first chapter of the game, a pop-up will appear asking, do you wish to abandon the Way of the Ninja? Way of the Ninja is the standard difficulty, by the way. If you pick yes, you have to go through a few more confirmations. The game really wants to know if you're sure about this, and that's when the claws come out. A cutscene starts where your subordinate Ian takes over, basically says she'll do everything and calls you a chump.
It seems I have greatly overestimated you. Oh well, we have no choice but to proceed.
And then gives you a pink ribbon with the new title of Ninja Dog. They really just want you to feel like a chump for giving up this early in the game. But if you don't care about appearances, then it does make the game a lot easier. It'd be great if that prison guard came out and said, look at that pink bow of yours. Yeah, no, obviously that's a crossover event that never happened and never will.
Just do what I say. You must complete your task.
And number 15, the Messenger. If all else fails, you could try jumping. So, in the Messenger, you got this little dude who follows you around named Quarble. He's a little demon you made a pact with. He'll revive you every time you die, but he takes some of your time shards as payment every time. That's not the insulting part, though. The real insulting part is he literally just makes fun of you every time you die. Sometimes he'll throw a softball at you, nothing really all that harsh, but then he'll bring the heat by saying sometimes, pro tip, A is used for jumping, or the savage. If someone's watching, you can pretend it was input lag. This little creep knows us a little better than we know ourselves, and he's got an insult in the barrel for basically every situation, like saying, you can pretend you just wanted to show them how I always have random contextual insults when you die. Yeah, it's definitely that I'm doing this for the video. It's not that I suck at the game, Quarble. How about I make fun of your name, Quarble? Who the hell names their demon child Quarble? You got lame parents and you got a lame name. Don't tell me I suck. Just, come on. At number 14 is the Binding of Isaac, the Golden God reward. It's a really simple one. I mean, getting Golden God in the Binding of Isaac is quite difficult and requires a frankly unhealthy level of dedication to this game, but the reward itself is simple to the point of absolutely devastating. If you manage to beat all 15 endings in the base game, or do the same thing on 3 save files if you have the Repentance DLC, then your reward for all those hours of hard work is, wait for it, a picture of Fat Isaac in the words, stop playing. It's as blunt as it is honest, but if